The narrator was looking at his family tree the other day, and he noticed that his great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother's name was Anne Longbottom. He got pretty excited because he thought perhaps he was related to Neville Longbottom, and the next train he would catch would be the Hogwarts Express, leaving from platform 9 3/4, a mixed number, by the way. But then he was brought back to reality when he was reminded that Neville Longbottom is a fictional character most ably portrayed by the fine young actor Matthew Lewis. Well, getting back to this week's problem, Neville Longbottom has another bag of Bertie Bott's every flavor beans. So let's review the flavors that we mentioned last week.
Dirt, earthworm, soap, grass, earwax, rotten egg, vomit, and booger.
Well, a lot of our problem solvers that have had algebra let the variable stand for the number of beans in the eighth bag and set up this equation. Other problem solvers let the variable stand for the average number of beans in all 8 bags combined, and they came up with a slightly different equation. Both equations did lead the problem solvers to the solution to the problem. But for those of us that haven't had any algebra, we rely on our old friend, counting numbers. Because bean counting sort of defines counting numbers. And since the number of beans in the 8th bag is 10 less than the average, then the average must be a counting number, because a counting number plus 10 has to be another counting number. The formal name for that is closure. For the average to be a counting number, then, the total number of beans must be divisible by 8. So let's look at the first number larger than 108 that's divisible by 8, and that number is 112. We divide it by 8 and we get 14. So perhaps the average is 14. And if it is, then since the 8th bag has 10 less than the average, the 8th bag must have 4. So let's check that answer. We add 108 plus 4 to get 112, so it all checks out. So there are 4 beans in the 8th bag, 4, the answer to this week's problem of the week.